Are you looking to hire a powerlifting coach? Did you have a bad experience with a previous coach and kind of scared to jump back in? Well, this video is going to go over some things you can look into to hire your next coach. All right, everyone, welcome back to another video. Coach Aaron here. I made an Instagram post yesterday going over some topics and some questions that you can ask when you want to find a coach. Oftentimes, the first thing I get asked in the DMs on Instagram or even on Facebook Messenger or on a forum is, hey, how much do you charge for coaching? This seems to be a common occurrence in the world of powerlifting and maybe in other services where everyone is just asking how much someone charges and trying to find the cheapest price. And while sometimes this can work, oftentimes it doesn't. And this can go for any kind of product or service that you usually get what you pay for. So you don't want to just jump into the cheapest price because sometimes there may be some red flags there, which is a reason for why the price is so cheap compared to the rest of the industry or the top of the top people. So let's talk about some of these different issues, and I'll try and break them down into different groups of questions that you can ask to get more information about the person. Also, in this video, I'm going to relate a lot of this stuff to my own coaching services and my own prices because one, I know the most about my own coaching, where some other people I may not know how much they charge if I don't put it publicly or what's included in that stuff, depending on what information I have online. And also, I don't want to go around bashing other coaches. I do like a lot of the other coaches out there, and I do recommend other coaches at times when the lifter is not a good fit for me. So it's mostly going to be about my coaching and then some of these other coaches and coaching teams out there that I know what their services are and their prices. All right, so the first little group or little section we'll talk about in no particular order is about the services, the package. What are they providing? Different coaches may have different tiers, different packages. So they might have free programs like I do have on my website. They might have a limited package where you might get the 4-week training block with no weekly communication or maybe not even any weekly updates. You just get the program one time, you ask how many weeks you want, they send it to you, and that's it, you go. There are ones where you might get more communication where you can talk to the person through email once a week and you get adjustments to the program once a week. And then there might be some kind of top end tier or unlimited tier where you get everything. You can talk with your coach every single day, you get their phone number, you do video calls, you might get a t-shirt or discounts to their store, all kinds of stuff. So there's different packages that coaches and different coaching teams provide. So one thing you want to look at is what does the package include and what are your needs? Do you need that constant communication and adjustment if your life is really busy, your work schedule is all over the place, you have to adjust the training days all around, everything like that, and you want to have the coach constantly communicating with you and making adjustments? Or are you more self-sufficient? You just want a 16-week training block and then go off on your own and do it. You already know what your weaknesses are, your technique is good, you can make some adjustments here and there if you need to. So you have to figure out what you're looking for and which package fits that. The other thing is when you're comparing coaches to coaches or companies or teams to other companies and teams is you're not always comparing apples to apples because what's included in the package is different. So you may ask one coach, hey, how much is your price? And they say, whatever, 150. And then you ask another coach, hey, what is your price? And they say 160. And you're like, okay, well, the 150 is cheaper. Let me go to them. But if you actually dig deeper, maybe the 160 is offering you way more stuff of things that you want. Maybe they'll handle you at your local meet for free, and the 150 maybe will charge you an additional 150 for that meet day handling. So now you're paying more for that 150 over the long term. So you want to go and look at what each company or each specific coach is including in their package so you can try and compare apples to apples, or if it's not the same, it's apples to oranges, then you can make your own hierarchy or ranking system of saying, hey, these things are most important to me and the coaches are providing this amount of each of those things, and depending on the price, I will pick this. So it's a little bit more nuanced than that. So for example, for me, like I said, I have free programs on my website. The link is in the little description below if you want to go to my website and look at the free programs, and I have videos on this channel that break down those free programs so you can go off and do those on your own. Then I have the option where if you want a certain number of training weeks, just a block designed for you, and then you go off and do it on your own, then I have that. So based on the number of weeks, it's a set price that you pay, and then I usually like to anyway send out 4 weeks at a time just so that I can get an update from you of how your 4 weeks went and then make the adjustment for the next 4 weeks. So if you have a 16-week block, I'm not actually sending you all 16 weeks at a time because it's very hard to predict what's gonna happen in 8, 12, or 16 weeks. So I'll send you 4 weeks and then you email me back after 4 weeks, say, hey, I'm done, everything is perfect, or hey, it was too light, or hey, I missed these reps, and then I'll design another 4 week for you. So at least there's some little bit of adjustment in there. It's one step above the free program. It's individualized to you, not only in the front end, but also after each 4 week block. And then I do have my unlimited coaching, which includes everything. You can message me on social media whenever you want. You can email me whenever you want. Most of my lifters have my phone number. They might text me or call if we need to. I'll do video reviews for them. We do the weekly email updates, oftentimes in written form, but again, sometimes in video form. Oftentimes, if I'm already at the meet, then I just coach them for free. So if they're competing at a local meet in Florida, let's say, and I'm there, I coach them for free. If we're at Nationals or the Arnold or World Championship, I'm coaching them for free. It's already included in that weekly price that you're paying. Also, we've made team shirts before, some Squats and Science t-shirts, and I brought a bunch to Nationals. So if they wanted a t-shirt and I had it there, I gave it to them for free. It was included. It's a nice little gift for them for being part of the team, paying me for coaching, trusting in me, and obviously coming to Nationals and representing our team at Nationals where we've won some of the team awards before. So important to go look at these services, see the breakdown of what's included in each package to see within a coach or a team which package you want that fits your needs. And also when comparing different coaches, you compare them as close as possible in the same amount of packages and not comparing someone's group programming to someone's unlimited coaching and going with the group program just because it's the cheaper price and then being disappointed once you find out what it includes. All right, next we're going to talk about education and what kind of schooling the person has gone through, or what kind of certifications the person has, or what kind of continuing education they've done. So this is really good for a new coach is coming on the scene. You might not be able to get a lot of information about them of what their lifters have accomplished or what kind of experience they've gained, what kind of results they have, how long a lifter's been with them, how fast they progress, that kind of stuff. Maybe they haven't worked with a lot of different populations, and maybe the population that you represent, maybe they haven't worked with. And we'll talk about this some more in the next section. But this gives you kind of a potential of what they're capable of based on like what education they have. If they have a degree in exercise science or some kind of sports physiology or anything like that related to exercise and fitness and strength training, or do they have a degree in something that's maybe somewhat connected? For example, for me, I have a degree in mechanical engineering, a bachelor's of science, and then I got my minor in mathematics and physics. So it's not directly related to exercise science, but it is somewhat related where I can use different concepts and ideas from mechanical engineering and just my expertise in math and science to apply that to powerlifting when it comes to technique, analysis, programming, collecting data and finding trends, attempt selection, all that kind of stuff. Then there's also another tier which is very unrelated. If it's completely unrelated to basically strength training or math or science, something like that, then you might want to look into it more, like what kind of certifications they have. Do they have any kind of personal training certifications? Do they have any powerlifting certifications? For example, USA Powerlifting has their own coaching certification, so you can see whether they've gone through that. Now, these aren't the end all be all. A lot of certifications are very basic. Some of them can be done online. You can have someone basically take it for you. So don't take this as, again, like, oh, if they have the certification, they must be the best in the world. But it just gives you an idea that, hey, they put time, effort, and money into possibly going to school or possibly going and doing these certifications, maybe doing seminars in person where they actually have to go somewhere. They didn't just do it online. And they're putting effort into continuing to learn, not just doing the whatever base knowledge they did to get into coaching, and then they just start coaching and never try and learn new things. All right, next would be the experience, the results, the accomplishments, the achievements. Once the coach has been around for a little while and they have started coaching different people and they've built up their coaching pool and the different populations they work with, then you can find, well, what have those people done? So what have they done with taking beginner powerlifters? Have they progressed, or have they basically been stagnant and got injured? For the kind of the intermediate, the middle lifters, what have they done with those groups? Have they been able to move those intermediate lifters, maybe getting whatever top 20 or top 15 at nationals, and take them to the next level of top 10, top 5, or even winning nationals? And then if they have worked with any elite lifters, what have they done with the elite lifters? Have they been able to take someone who's been number one in the world and has world records and take them to that next level and continue to progress and continue to break world records? Or have they kind of basically just staying at the same total for a few years and they're just coaching an elite lifter, but they haven't really progressed? They just kind of maintain them at their top level strength and they're still competitive. So you can look at these different groups and see how they've done with each of those groups. Within that also, you can look at your specific population. So if you're a multiply bench presser, well then go look at what multiply bench pressers that coach has worked with and what did they achieve. For me personally, I've never worked with a multiply lifter. So if one came to me, I would say, listen, I'm not experienced in this area. I have no idea about which multiply shirt is the best, which meets to do, all that kind of stuff. And we would have to find someone else for them. So then that's when it helps as a coach to know other coaches out there that are good. And I can say, okay, I'll refer you to this coach who is an expert on multiply bench pressing. Or for example, drug tested versus non-tested. If someone came to me who wants to compete in non-tested, do I want to be the best in the world? They want to go to the US Open. They want coaching on what to take, where to buy it from, how to cycle everything. Again, I'll say, I don't know anything about this stuff. We'll have to refer you to someone else. So as a coach, they should know what they're competent in and which groups that they're ideal for them. But as an athlete looking for a coach, you should also ask them what their ideal client is, what kind of groups they work with. For me, the vast majority of the people I work with compete in the IPF or one of the IPF affiliates. They are a raw powerlifter. They compete in the 3-lift, squat, bench press, and deadlift. And within that, I usually get more females than males. Now, I can work with males and I have done that and I have results for that. I can work with bench only raw lifters. I've worked with single ply lifters. I've competed both in raw and single ply, 3-lift, push-pull, bench press. So I have experience in that. But my biggest pool of data and experience and results comes from that drug tested, raw, full power population. So that is where I am best at. So everyone has a different group and they need to figure out what group they work best with, and the athlete who's looking for the coach should be asking that kind of question. All right, and then there's like a miscellaneous group or other questions. There's lots of other things that you can ask depending again on what you want and what you are looking for. For example, a lifter may want a in-person coach, or sometimes in person and then mostly online. So you may want to ask where the coach lives to see what your proximity is to them. So sometimes they may meet up like once a month or maybe at least once a year for like a team session. So obviously if you're close to your coach, it'd be easy for you to go to the team session and get that camaraderie, get some face-to-face interaction. Another may be what kind of federations do they coach in or compete in, and which meets they regularly go to. So for me, I pretty much just go to all the USA Powerlifting meets and then sometimes to the other IPF affiliates, whether it's Canada or World Championships, things like that. So if someone was competing in another country, let's just say they were in South Africa or they're in Germany or they're in Japan, well then most likely I'm never going to see them unless they go to a World Championship and end up seeing them there. So they may want to pick someone who's within their federation so they can actually see them at local meets or nationals, regional meets, that kind of stuff. Even within the US, I never go to a SPF meet, I never go to an RPS meet. I'm limited on which meets I can go to as well, since I'm a USAPL head coach and I can't go to another federations like World Championship or something and coach there. I'll get in trouble for that. So if someone wants to compete at the US Open or someone wants to go to IPL Worlds, then they have to understand that I can't go with them. So either they have to find someone else that's going to handle them at that meet, or they have to just find a coach that's included in all that as part of their package. Other things may be whether the coach competes as well, if they still regularly compete and how competitive they are. If you are competing at nationals and you're coached by someone who's also competing at nationals, then they might not be able to handle you depending on when they're competing compared to you. So if they get to compete before you, let's say they're coaching the 59 or 66 kilo class competitor and you're in the 105s or 120s, then they can go in early, they can get their competing done, and then they have all the time in the world to handle you. But if it's the other way around and they're a 105 or 120 and you're a 59 or 66 and you're competing the day before that they compete, then they may say, hey, I can't coach you because I need to relax and I need to make weight and everything like that for my competition. So then again, you have to either decide whether you want to go with that coach and find another handler for that meet, for whatever it is, nationals, Arnold, anything like that, or just find a coach that fits you and your competition schedule. Maybe they don't compete or maybe they always compete before you because they're in a lighter weight class, or maybe they're willing to not compete at those competitions where they're focusing on coaching, and then they'll compete in the competitions where they're not coaching. You have to look into that too when you're looking for coaches, especially some of the higher level athletes that are also coaches, because there is going to be that overlap of the schedule. And if it is something that you're looking for, then you have to take that into account. So those are just some things to look into: what services they provide, what kind of education they have, what kind of results they have, and then those finer points depending on what exactly you're looking for. And there's a lot more to this, so maybe in the future I'll make more videos on this, going into different ways that you can look into how to find a coach so that you can find the best coach for you. But if you would like to look into it more now, I'll put the link to it below in the description for a appointee scheduler that you can schedule a call with me and do a free call with me to figure out some of these things. Whether you want to look for coaching with me or with someone else, I can help solve the problem for you. We can go through all these different things, see what your goals are, see what you're trying to achieve, and what your price range is, since that is a factor. I'm just saying it's not the only factor or the most important factor. Well, we can look into that too and see whether you're a good fit for me or whether you'd be a good fit for one of these other coaches I know that are very knowledgeable with their group, and that they're a good price, and that they're communicative, and all that kind of stuff that basically becomes an issue with some coaching services or companies out there. So again, check the description below, click it, schedule a call. We can talk face to face or just voice if you want, and figure out the next coach for you. All right, see you next time.